Yo, this new Jeffrey? Nah, let me not say anything, because if he watches this, y'all might never see me again. All right, welcome to Tate's Take. If you're new here, I'm dropping recap and reviews of every episode of Bel-Air. If that's something you're into, hit that subscribe button for your boy. For my regular Tate's Takers, let's see what picture they're painting here at episode 4. Get it? Because the episode is called Canvas, and I said, painting? Ugh, never mind. All right, Supersonic JJ Fad recap of where we've been so far. Episode 1, we meet this basketball phenom named Will Smith. He gets into a fight on the court with some Philly goons. He gets arrested, and his mom ships him off on a one-way flight to LA to live with her sister. First day there, Uncle Phil's throwing a big fancy party at the house for his campaign. Will gets to see his cousins. At the end of the episode, Will punches one of these said cousins in the face. That's Carlton at that pool party, because Carlton was coked out of his mind and saw Will kissing his ex-girlfriend. This is day 1. Episode 2, the gist here is that Will makes the basketball team at Bel-Air Academy. One of Carlton's boys, who is this white dude who thinks it's cool to say the N-word in rap songs out loud around Carlton, he plants drugs on Will's bag, and the security finds it, and he gets in trouble. Uncle Phil cleans this all up. That's pretty much the gist of episode 2. Episode 3 is Yamakra. That's when Uncle Phil realizes he's not connecting with the black community as much as he wants to, so he decides to reconnect with his Alfred brothers and steps back into the fold. Literally. That episode ends when we find out that the Philly goon learns that Will is actually hiding out in Bel-Air. Like, would that goon really go all the way to LA for this dude? I don't know. If there's any Philly goons in the chat, you could let me... Like, what's your radius? How far would you go for beef? I just can't imagine booking a Delta basic economy plane ticket to fly, or put your mask on and fly across the country for beef. Thugs don't do, beef is local. Anyway, that's pretty much episodes 1 through 3. So boom, episode 4. This one's called Canvas. It was directed by Dale Stern, written by Nicole Delaney and my man, Hank Jones. This one starts out with Carlton and Uncle Phil playing chess. Carlton wins. Uncle Phil tells Carlton that he needs to go door to door with Will to try to get voters, and if he does that without fighting, that he'll get to go to the Monaco Grand Prix. And I don't know what that is, but it sounds like some rich shit. Oh, like F1. Yeah, I hope the black guy wins everything. Next scene is at Bel-Air Academy, and Lisa and Will are having this awkward conversation in the parking lot about art or something. And another thing, I don't get how Will is so stuck on Lisa. He just got there. What are you doing already? I don't know. And it's also weird that she would even date someone like Carlton, unless she only dates black guys, and maybe he's the only black guy at the school, or maybe he was normal, and then she broke his heart, and he started doing cocaine. Either way, it's weird. Anyway, they're talking in the parking lot, and in the little distance, we see someone lurking in the shadows. We don't know if it's a Philly goon. We don't know if it's someone watching out for Will. We just don't know. It's just someone lurking in the shadows. But we also find out here that Lisa's mom died from lupus. It's pretty sad. Next scene, we see Ashley getting her hair braided by Aunt Viv. She's on the phone nonstop, and her mom's like, "Who you texting?" And she doesn't want to tell her mom who she's texting. No one does. Then we see Trey talking to Will, and he lets Will know that Rashad, that's the Philly goon, knows for sure that Will is in Bel-Air. Now Will's all shook, and he's looking all over the house for Uncle Phil. I don't know what he thinks Uncle Phil can do, but he's looking. Uncle Phil isn't home, but Jeffrey, the Trap King, is, and he lets Will know that Rashad has been taken care of.
What do you mean by that?
Then we see Hillary interviewing with all these content creator houses. I never even knew these things existed, but I guess it's kind of like The Circle on Netflix, but here they're not pretending. Well, the next scene is Aunt Viv hanging with her friend, complaining about wanting to get back into the art world. I'm sorry. Just make some art. I'm kind of tired already of seeing her complain about not being able to do art, but I guess Uncle Phil be hating. The episode already just seems so choppy. It's like one little quick little scene and then on to the next. Like Chris Tate is making breakfast, takes one bite of the cereal. Next scene. Chris Tate's best friend is at the barbershop getting a haircut. Next scene. Chris Tate's uncle is at AutoZone getting a tire. It's like, it's very choppy. Anyway, the friend says, yeah, she knows someone that's looking to find new artists or rediscover artists. All great timing. So maybe she can do her art in the future. It's pointless. Next scene. All right, we're moving at light speed. Again, now we're back with Hillary and Will. Will's at the piano, and Hillary has no idea that he knows how to play this piano. It's a callback to the first episode of The Fresh Prince, which was a fire ending to that episode. Anyway, I guess the point of this episode is to show like Will and Hillary bonding. Hillary's kind of feeling in a funk because of her interviews, but my man Will lifts her spirits and tries to like, be supportive. It's also in this scene that Hillary puts Will on game, that he needs to start thinking like Carlton if he wants to get anything done around there. So Will takes that advice, goes to Aunt Viv, and he's like, all right, if me and Carlton work together with no beef, can my boy Trey come out to LA? And she's like, all right, yeah, if y'all do this with no beef, I'll fly your boy out, make sure he has a good ass time. And shout out to Aunt Viv getting people flued out. Okay, damn, like I need richer friends. Now Uncle Phil is telling the family the campaign game plan. Will and Carlton are gonna go door to door to try to get voters. Hillary and Ashley are gonna go to businesses and hang up signs. Aunt Viv is gonna just chill and stop being so spicy. And Jeffrey is gonna stay back and do hood rat things with his friends. So we see Will and Carlton going door to door. And door after door, Carlton is getting doors slammed in his face. And this is probably my favorite moment for Jabari Parker, who plays Will Smith in the whole season so far. It was the most Fresh Prince I've ever seen him. Like the facial expressions, it was very subtle, but comedy gold. Impressive. Who y'all doing that? Keep doing stuff like that. That's good. That's good. They cut over to Hillary and Ashley, who are hanging up signs at businesses. They make it into this record store, which turns out to be a store that Jazz owns. He took it over from his Uncle Charlie. Here we're getting some sexual tension between Jazz and Hillary, especially after Ashley sneaks off to hang with her friends. Of course, in The Fresh Prince, Jazz liked Hillary. We all did. But Hillary wasn't giving him no time of day. Here in Bel-Air, it looks like my dog might have a chance. And speaking of Hillary, I was going to say that through the first 3 episodes, Hillary kind of left that ditzy persona from Fresh Prince, and now she's just more like on the social media wave. Then here in episode 4, at the freaking record store, she tells Jazz, wow, I think it's so cool how you have the records separated by genre. Word? Like how else would you have... Never mind. Around this time, we also get a scene where Uncle Phil commits the ultimate no-no, where he says that Aunt Viv used to be an artist. Come on, man. You can't say that. Aunt Viv calls him out for not being focused on the black issues. And she got a good point. That's a good counter. Also, side note, random tangent. Do we care that Uncle Phil is now hot and not slightly overweight and we're missing out on potential Will Smith fat jokes? Is 2022, are we allowed to make fat jokes in 2020? I guess that's why he's hot. Okay. Meanwhile, at Ashley's secret play date, she's asking all these kids like, where's Lucia? Who's Lucia, Ashley? Do you possibly have a crush on Lucia? I think you do, and I think it's cute. Then we flip over to Jeffrey, and he's talking to some weirdo, and this is where we find out that they actually paid Rashad $10K to leave Will alone. And Rashad finds out that Uncle Phil is loaded, and he decides that $10K isn't enough. And it really isn't, Uncle Phil. Come on, man. What kind of hush money is this? Handle this fool, Jeffrey. Back to Will and Carlton, and I guess the Will and Carlton piece of this campaign thing was the best part of this episode. Here's where Will tells Carlton that, like, his approach is not working. Carlton is pitching his dad as, like, this lesser of two evils candidate. And Will is reminding him, like, people could just not vote, like, especially if they think the two candidates are both trash. Like, it sounds familiar.
It's about winning the next election. And that begins with learning the difference between an imperfect friend and a deadly enemy.
So then you see Carlton agree to let Will take the lead, And of course, Will gets all the signatures that they need because he's explaining what Philip Banks can do for the community rather than just saying, who else you gonna vote for? Then back to Ashley's secret playdate that ain't a secret no more because Boogeyman Jeffrey pops up out of nowhere like he got an air tag on Ashley. We go back to Jazz's record shop and the artist comes in looking for some music. Then somehow we teleport to the 1990s because Jazz gives this dude a record when he says he needs some new music. Like, in what 2022 world would a record help this guy? Like, you don't need like beats. Like, you just gave this dude a record. Like, why isn't Jazz in 2022 like some semi-famous Twitch DJer and he does beats and he's just like up-and-coming producer? I don't know what the point of that scene was. Maybe to show that Jazz has connections, but it happened. Moving on, Uncle Phil had this exclusive skating party planned for his donors, and then Will went ahead and invited the whole hood. So Uncle Phil's mad because he's like, what the hell? Like, this is supposed to be exclusive for the donors. Now I'm gonna have the whole community here asking me questions that I'm not prepared for. The skate party does give us some more information though. Like, for instance, we find out that Aunt Viv and Lisa's mom were in the same sorority. We find out that Lisa's dad is a cop. Obviously, Will is not happy to hear about this because he just got police brutalized in episode 1. So he's mad and he's like, damn girl, how you not gonna tell me that your dad was a cop? Will, like, you just met this girl last week. Just relax. Anyway, she's like, hello, I don't know what your dad does. And Will's like, my dad walked out of my life and never looked back. And we all know where this is going. So get your goddamn tissues ready.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Will.
Anyway, Uncle Phil's answering all these questions from the community, and they even ask him if he thinks that they should defund the police. And Lisa's dad, the cop, is standing right in the front. And Uncle Phil's like, yes, they should be defunded. Dang, that's crazy. Uncle Phil getting gangster. Because if you ask me if they should defund the police, I'm going to tell you like this. Because I think... Anyway, the crowd loves Uncle Phil's answers, and another Will mistake has turned out to be a positive. And that's pretty much it for the skate party. Oh, and Jeffrey did end up inviting Ashley's friends to the party, and that's where we get to meet this infamous Lucia, who she obviously has a crush on. And like, Ashley girl, are you even trying to hide this? Like, 3 or 4 of Ashley's friends roll up, and she only hugs Lucia. Do you know what the word subtlety is? Ugh, to be young. Back at home, Will and Carlton agree to stop tripping each other up, which, in my opinion, maybe this is a little too quick to be having this friendship brewing, but I don't know. Carlton just did some grimy stuff. We'll see where it goes. And I know it was Carlton's boy that did the grimier stuff, but maybe that's what I would have done. Like, I would have written the show maybe where it was actually Carlton that planted the drugs in Will's bag in a desperate moment of trying to get back at this dude. Uncle Phil fixes this. No one knows that Carlton does this. Will and Carlton become cool just naturally through life of being cousins and being cool. And then the dark secret comes out because Carlton's original white boy teammate that did plant the drugs gets mad at Carlton because Carlton and Will are so cool, and Carlton cuts off the white boy, and the white boy's mad and he's pissed and he's jealous, and he's like, Will, did you even know that was your cousin that planted those drugs on you? And then Will's like, what? My cousin wouldn't do that. And then he looks at Carlton, and Carlton has that single tear in that 4K Peacock, crispiness. And then Will's like, damn, how could you do this? And Lisa's like, you're better than that, Carlton. And then the white boy's like, yeah. Maybe that's what I would. I digress. Hillary, on the other hand, finds out that she was actually accepted into one of those content creator houses. She's super happy, but Aunt Viv ain't showing her no love, and she's mad. Or maybe she's sad. Aunt Viv keeps her word, and she tells Will that she'll fly Trey out at the end of the week. Will's super hyped. He calls Trey, and Trey's like, that's cool and all, and I'm gonna pack my stuff, but Rashad is dead. And Will's like, what? And I'm like, what did you do, Jeffrey? And that's episode 4. So what's my take? I'm going to give Bel-Air season 1, episode 4, 3 stars. I liked Will and Carlton's interactions going door to door, but are they squashing the beef too soon? I like seeing more of Ashley than we did in the first 3 episodes, but she likes this girl that we know nothing about. Why not just have the girl at the party and see some little cute interactions before we see that she's texting her? Like, why would I care that she likes this girl? Like, I just have to assume that she's nice. She's probably nice, but give us more. The show is still good, of course. Plus, there's 6 full episodes left. There's a lot of time, a lot of stuff to unpack. I just think this episode in particular was jumping around so crazy. Like, I don't know if it was different editing than the other episodes. Just seemed a little weird instead of just sticking with a topic just a little bit longer. Like, there's no reason to show Ashley getting her hair braided for 5 seconds just to show us that Aunt Viv is questioning her for texting. Like, 12-year-olds are always texting. Aunt Viv should question her when she's not texting. And we'll see where this Jeffrey thing goes. But if this dude is the equalizer or freaking Thanos, I'm not going to know how to handle that. But I'll be back for episode 5. As always, thanks for checking out Tate's Take. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. In the comments, I guess we can do question of the week. Question of the week: do we think that Will and Carlton are squashing the beef too soon, comma, and or, but do you think that there's more conflict to be had, or that we're not really seeing the beef being squashed? It's just a little setup for more conflict. What do you think? Maybe, I guess, Carlton could find out that Will is getting more serious with Lisa and gets all a little pissy about that. What do y'all think? Episode 4, y'all. Thanks for the time. Peace.